Recently, I had to hit my bank up because I had some problems with a transfer. Some money was sent to me. I tried accessing it on Independence Day and I wasn't able to. And my bank balance, well, it just wasn't adding up anyway. So I couldn't access the money, even though I had received an email from the bank that my account had been credited with the money. So I did what the average Nigerian would do, which was I checked the calendar. I was like, oh, it's October 1st. Today is a public holiday. Yesterday was the last day of the month. So there must have been a run on banks because people want to get money for the long holidays. So it's just a glitch. These sorts of things happen. The problem will be rectified tomorrow. And so the next day, I tried to access the money and no show. And the day after that, no show. So I called up the bank and the lady who answered was really, really helpful. And well, I guess that's nice, given that the topic of the videos that I've been doing on Instagram and TikTok recently have been around the ideas of customer service. So it was nice to meet someone who was real professional, tried to take responsibility and try to help out. But unfortunately, the app that she needed to rectify balances was down. And anyway, so I was supposed to call back in an hour. But that was already late in the evening. I said I would. I had a few things to do. One, then my son came down unexpectedly with a fever. So I dashed off to the hospital to get that sorted. Well, you know how it is. You drive 30 minutes there, the drive back is 30 minutes. It takes about 30 minutes to see the doctor. I really wanted to wait to get the results of blood samples because, just so I can save some time the next day. But anyway, I had to go back home. My son was given some professional meds, which turned out to be the right meds anyway, because the doctor's hunch seemed to match the results at the end of the day. So that part was good. But the thing was, I had forgotten to call back in an hour, like I said I would. And then lo and behold, the next day, I wake up, school runs, and then I check my phone when I get home. The first thing I see is a message saying, Mr. Tabishima, blah, 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 case resolved. Um, yeah, Mr. Tabishima, case resolved. Would you please give us a five-star rating? Something like that, the usual spiel. And of course, I was incredulous. And I just thought to myself, well, of course, I also mentioned to my wife, now this is absolutely ridiculous. I see no reason why people who run big corporations, whether in the West, because I won't be surprised if those of you in Western climes, America, Europe, you guys have these sorts of challenges that we face as well. So it's an absolute shame that you guys, the people in charge of all these systems, design them without the customer experience in mind, and they're only satisfied about their own internal metrics. So in this case, you send out a message saying, "Case closed. Give us a five-star rating." And uh, meanwhile, the substantial issue, which was that I couldn't find a huge chunk of money missing from my account, that matter obviously had not been resolved. So I figured I was supposed to have called back in 1 hour. I didn't call back in 1 hour, so this is an automated thing. Close the inquiry or close the complaint, and then try and get a five-star rating to boost your customer service calls. But unfortunately, um, not a lot of thought is put into designing these systems to make sure that the customer is actually satisfied at the end of the whole process, if indeed the process has been resolved, because in my own case, the process was not resolved. And so I had to take out time to drive into the bank, of course, long queues to sort it out eventually. And of course, the member of staff who attended to me was also really, really helpful. So I give them kudos for that. But unfortunately, the overall design of these customer service systems don't take some common sense sales principles into account. And one traditional sales principle which should have come in handy here is that before you ask someone for a referral, before you ask someone for a recommendation, before you ask someone for an anything after you're done with the transaction, you want to at least make sure that they are satisfied with the whole experience. And of course, the rationale for this is simple. In traditional sales theory, you're thinking one on one, you're dealing with one person. And if you've had a terrible experience, like I did, in this case, a huge chunk of money is missing, we haven't resolved that, and you tell the person, hey, how about giving me 5 stars on Google? Of course, you know that that's going to be a very awkward experience because, well, quite frankly, the person is going to say no. Some people might react aggressively. I mean, there's no telling how people will react. So I guess in the traditional sense, one-on-one, face-to-face, it kind of sinks in that it's just common sense that before I say, hey, can you give me 5 stars on Google? Or do you know anybody else who would require my services? You would ask to be sure that, hey, Kunle, hey, BC, what's up? How you doing? That thing will deliver to you. Did it get there okay? Did it get there in one piece? Did you guys like it? Did mommy like it? Was it fit for purpose? Those sorts of questions. And it would make a lot of sense if people who design these processes for corporations, if they build some of that into it, try to make sure that the customer is indeed happy before you ask for the 5 star rating or for the referral or for whatever it is. So, if you're one of these people who happens to work in any of these corporations, this is common sense, practical advice from a sales perspective that you can use to make sure that you guys are hitting your customer service goals, your qualitative customer service goals. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how many tickets you closed. It's not that you look at the customer service rep and see that, oh, she closed 50 tickets at the end of the day, so she's very productive, or he closed 120 tickets, so he's even much more productive. What's the point of closing 120 tickets if you only actually resolved 20 at the end of the day to the satisfaction of the customer? I think it would make a whole lot more sense if somebody closed only 20 tickets in the day, but out of those 20, 18 people were satisfied and were happy that it was resolved adequately. And I think that's what we should be aiming for. So it's not just the number of tickets that we close in our businesses, but whether we got the customer happy and we got them satisfied and we had an adequate resolution of the customer service problem. Now, unfortunately, uh, this is not the only problem where these customer service processes are poorly designed. Like I've noticed, it looks like customer service reps, well, I don't know about the world over, but in Nigeria for sure, it looks like customer service reps are not empowered to call back the customer to even ask these questions in the first place. Because it would have been nice to have received a call this morning saying, hey, Tabishima, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for calling in last night. You didn't call back again. Um, was the transaction reversed? That would have been a really nice conversation to have. And since customer service standards are really low in Nigeria, I would have been really chuffed and mentioned to loads of people that, can you believe my bank did this? Because it really is stunning when it happens. In fact, the last time it happened, it left so much of an impression on me. I told, all manner of people, and they couldn't believe. But it wasn't with the bank. This was with our power company. At I just called them NEPA, Nigerian Electric Power Authority, because that's what they were when I was a boy. But I think now it's the PHCN, yes, the Power Holding Corporation of Nigeria, I think, PHCN. So I had a customer service issue. One of the cables was down, so I called in. I spoke to a gentleman, a northern gentleman, turned out to be really helpful. And surprisingly, the dude called me back after 30 minutes to say, Mr. Ayede, I've reached out to engineer so and so. The engineer is going to call you before 4 p.m., something like that anyway. And I was stunned, like, wow, okay, you guys are really taking things up a notch. And of course, the engineer called, like he said, exactly the engineer that he said was going to call me. And they helped sort things out, and the problem was rectified. And well, anyway, I should have called the guy back to say thanks, because back then, the customer service numbers for NEPA or PATN seem to be assigned to specific individuals. Like if you called in today and you spoke to Kemi on the phone, chances are if you call back next week, it also would be Kemi on the phone as well. I don't know how that works, but anyway, that's how we went with them. So I should have called the dude back, but I forgot. And then lo and behold, the next day, the guy calls, Mr. Ade, how far did engineer so and so show up? Were you guys able to resolve it? And of course, it was resolved. I was really grateful. I thanked him profusely. I mean, I've told that story to so many people because I could not believe it. A public utility company with that level of customer service in Nigeria, of all places. I mean, my mind was blown. But that was the only time that it happened. And so I guess that maybe the systems are not set up that way so that these people can't call back, even when they want to take the initiative. They can't call back to say, Hey, Mr. So and so, Madam so and so, was the problem resolved? Are you happy? Are we good? Okay, if we're good, then how about you going into Play Store and giving us that 5-star review, or going to Google to give us that 5-star review, or whatever. But anyway, this is the common sense approach for those of you who are in, business management circles, or gosh, I don't know. I'm not sure who is responsible for designing the customer service processes of the business. But if you're in one of those circles, these are things that you guys have to consider when it comes to mapping out your customer service processes. Try and empower your reps to reach out, be sure that everybody's happy before asking for referrals, repeat business, recommendations, ratings, and reviews. And for the rest of us, ordinary business people who don't run huge corporations, this is sound sales practice to employ. So if you sell eggs, for instance, you deliver a crate of eggs to the hotel, call up once in a while, call up the manager. Hey, Manager Bayo, what's up? How you guys doing? How's business? How's the fam? We've delivered 15,000 eggs to you guys over the past 3 months. I hope there are no problems. My people show up on time. I hope they're okay. Not too many eggs are damaged. Um, you know, ask around. Try and figure out if there have been any problems, any issues, things you're doing well, things that you could do better, and then act on that advice. And apart from that, since it's not the typical thing for most people to do anyway, because the average person will just hand over the eggs, you collect the check, you call your accountant, like, okay, that check for 1.2 mil, did the check clear? Oh, the check cleared. And you say, oh, yay. And then you're happy. And, you go and drink or pay your tithe or do whatever it is that people do after they receive 1 million in the bank account. So you also should call up once in a while. Find out, is everything okay? Are you guys happy with the service? What are the things that went well? What could we have done better? Is there anything we could have done to improve? And then it is after that that you can now ask, hey, Manager Bayo, do you happen to know anybody else who owns a hotel within Gariki area of FCT who could use our services? Could you hook me up with someone else so I can supply eggs to them as well? I mean, since you're happy with my services, who knows which way these conversations will go. But you can't start having these conversations about repeat business, referrals, ratings, and reviews until you're sure that everyone is happy. So make that a part of your customer service process today. Don't be like my bank. Ask if people are happy, if everything has been wrapped up in a satisfactory manner before you say case closed. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording. If you guys want to reach out to me with questions, comments, queries, enquiries, you can hit me up on WhatsApp. The number is 080 6466 2140. Again, you can message me on WhatsApp 080 6466 2140. The country code is plus 234 for Nigeria. Again, the country code is plus 234 for Nigeria. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording.